YouTube? I'm back again today for another game review, and today I'm very excited to check out Kingdomino Age of Giants expansion. This is an expansion to the immensely popular Kingdomino from Blue Orange Games. This one is for 2 to 5 players. Take about 20 minutes to play, and it's for ages 8+. And Kingdomino Age of Giants is going to be an expansion to both Kingdomino and Queendomino that is going to add a 5th player, but more importantly, giants, which will be coming around your land and stepping on your crowns and annoying the living heck out of you. Kingdomino and Queendomino are 2 games that both made it into my collection. 2 absolutely delightful games. So needless to say, super excited about this expansion. Does it improve the games enough to warrant me recommending it, though? Let's open it up, and I'll tell you what I think. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Kingdomino Age of Giants. So first and foremost, we have your handy dandy rule sheet. That's all you're going to get right there. It's got some pictures, some illustrations, some examples. Very well done. Should have you up and running in no time at all. And also I can teach you how to use the expansion right now because it's a very simple expansion. So let's go over what new you're going to get in Kingdomino Age of Giants. So first and foremost, you are going to get enough stuff so that you can play with a 5th player. So now you'll have the extra brown person that you'll be able to play with. You're going to be getting these really cool looking giants. And I just want to specify how stinking awesome these guys look. And then check it out. Boom. Double freaking sided. Yeah, these things are really stinking nice. You're going to get these. These guys are going to be blocking the crowns in your kingdom. They will be unwelcome guests that you will have to deal with, and we'll show you how to deal with those a little bit later. Next, you're going to be getting a new score pad for Kingdomino. Not one for Queendomino, but a new one for Kingdomino, which just adds these 2 little spots down here on the bottom, which will correlate to these tiles, which I'll show you right now. These tiles are going to be different ways you will be able to score points at the end of the game. So, for instance, this one, for every pasture you have around your kingdom, you're going to get 5 extra points. So 5, 10, 15, 20, if you can get them around them. For this one, those ones are the same. This one is going to be the corners. For every water you have in the corner, you get 5 points. And there's a lot that are like that. You'll get 10 bonus points if you can get your kingdom smack dab in the center. 20 bonus points if you can put it all the way down in the corner. There's one that's really neat, the tic-tac-toe one that I like, where if you can get a tic-tac-toe in different directions of the crowns, then you'll be able to score points. This is the only one that I wish there was a little bit of clarification in the rule booklet. I'm not sure if, say for instance, you had a tic-tac-toe here, if then this top one could be used to do another tic-tac-toe, like one tic-tac-toe. Little nitpick, but something I did want to mention. So you're going to have 2 of these that are going to be set up each game, and that will give you a little bit more thinkiness in the game. So you're going to set out 2 of these. We'll just say we set out these 2 runs right here. And then last but not least, the star of the show, you're going to be getting new tiles. And you're going to be getting a whole bunch of new tiles. They will be higher numbers, and they will be letters. And when you draw these tiles, the letters are actually going to go all the way to the top. So you'll do it, in your normal alphabetical order, but then the letters take precedence. And each of the letters is going to be bad. And it's going to be bad because that means that a giant is going to be invading your land. So what does that mean? Well, that means that when you take this tile, and sometimes you're going to have to take this tile, you're going to take a giant, and he's actually going to go on top of one of your crowns that you have out on the board. So let me see if I can draw a crown real quick. So, for instance, you might have to put it right here, and that crown now does not exist. But luckily, the high numbers, this one's 49, are going to have footsteps, which means that the giant is going to leave your area and then go to someone else's area, and you actually get to choose the other person who gets your giant. So you can kind of look around the table, see who's doing really good, send a giant their way. Now, you don't get to place it on there. They get to place it wherever they want, but you still get to send it to them. Also, these high numbers are going to be, like stinking awesome, as you can see right there. So you're going to be getting new tiles, and then you're also going to get this really cool looking tower, which I'm going to pan back the camera a little bit so you can get a better grasp of it. But it sits up like this, and you will be able to slide out the tiles from the bottom. And most of the time, it works really stinking well, as you can see. And it's just a really nice added touch, this thing is. You got the giant in the back, and it is magnetic clasp as you can see right there. So that's what you're going to be getting in the game. It's going to be pretty much the same game. The only real differences is if you're playing with less than 5 players, then you're going to remove some tiles when you first set them out. There's some minor housekeeping things that as soon as you learn them will be dirt simple, but that's what it's going to add. It also does the same thing for Queendomino as well. So that in a nutshell is what you're going to get inside of Kingdomino Age of Giants. Now before we leave, I do have to answer the question that is just probably burning on your head, which is, will it fit in the box? And oh no, it won't. So there you go. But Queendomino, on the other hand, it will fit in the box, but only if you unfold these little castles. So you have to disassemble and reassemble the castles, but if you do that, you can fit everything from Kingdomino and Queendomino and this expansion into this box. So hopefully in the future, they will come up with a mega box for that. But that in a nutshell is what you're going to get inside of Kingdomino Age of Giants. Alrighty then, Kingdomino Age of Giants from Blue Orange Games. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, game's not going to be for everybody for a variety of different reasons. First and foremost, while it does add some really cool elements to the game, which we'll talk more about in the pros, I don't know if it changes enough to really sway people who did not like the original King or Queendomino. So if you didn't like the first Kingdomino or Queendomino, I don't think this does enough quite yet to really sway you over there. Another comment I have of this game, and I mentioned in the middle part, but I am going to reiterate it because a lot of people don't watch the middle part, is that if you have just Kingdomino and you get the expansion, you will not be able to fit the really cool Stinking Tower into the box, so you will have to keep the expansion box and the regular box. That's annoying. Now, if you have Queendomino, then you will be able to fit the expansion, and if you have Queendomino and Kingdomino and the expansion, you can fit it all into the Queendomino box. It's a very tight fit, and you actually will have to disassemble the castles and reassemble them when you play, but it will all fit in there. That's what I'm going to end up doing. Continuing on with the con side, it does not have a new score pad for Queendomino. It's not a huge deal, though, to be honest with you, but it is something that I did want to mention. So, moving to the actual game itself, it can create a little bit more analysis paralysis than you would like, especially when you send giants to other people's lands. Because normally, you just really focus on what you got. It's like, all right, I'm focused on what I got. And if you can't do anything good, then normally you just want to go to the top so you can draft something good next time. But with this one, sending giants to other people's castles, you actually have to look at what your neighbors are doing and really be like, all right, so he's not doing too well. And, oh, he's doing pretty good. And then, oh, he's not doing too well. Wait, but I got to look at these 2 special edition tiles. So he gets 5 points for every desert around his tile. He has 3 of those. So it just creates an added little extra layer of AP, which I didn't really mind, but I know some people might. It's not huge, but it is something that I did want to mention. And honestly, all my cons, for the most part, are nitpicks, but I did want to mention that. Any other cons that I have with the game? Oh, the tic-tac-toe thing. There's one tile in there, one of the fancy tiles that I wish they reiterated exactly how it worked. We think we did it right, but we're just not sure. It's a minor detail, but it is something that annoys me. Moving on to the pros, Kingdomino Age of Giants is a fantastic expansion for both Kingdomino and Queendomino, and if you routinely hit 5 players and you enjoy either one of those games, I would say this is a must-own expansion. Now, if you don't routinely hit 5 players, I think this is a great to fantastic expansion that you probably want to add. But really, for me personally, as someone who plays a lot of times with 5 players, that's my favorite aspect of this. It's just the simplicity of being able to play with 5 players. But continuing on, let's talk about the modules, module by module, and my thoughts on them. So first, the 2 tiles that you set out that are going to give you different ways to score points, I love it. It adds an extra layer to the game, a little bit more thinkiness to the game, and I am all for it. I would never not play without those. Really think they're cool. Very fun. Always play with those in both game modes. Next, the Giants, which obviously is the star of the show because it's called Age of Giants. Yes, I think it's a really cool added dimension to the game. I like the fact that getting a giant really stinks, but if you get a giant, that means you're going to pick first next time guaranteed, and you could potentially pick the one down at the bottom, which will send the giant to go to somebody else. And I actually like having, maybe one giant in your land so you can send them off later, or planning your city so that you'll have a spot that's your giant spot. It's like, all right, this is the spot where if I get a giant, he's going to go right here and he's going to cost me 1 point. It's not going to be a big deal. I like that added extra layer to the game. So the 2 added extra layers, which are the giant tiles and the different ways you can score at the end of the game. I really like both. I do like the extra ways you can score slightly better, but I like the Giants, and I would play with both every single time, and I will play with both every single time. Also, they do not add that much more complexity to the game. Really, all you have to do is explain, all right, so you're going to score points by timesing your crowns by your location, and then you also score points for having this tile and this tile. Explain that, and then here's what the tiles do. These have crowns. This is a giant. This sends a giant away. It's not that much more explanation. Now, the last thing that I want to mention is the tower. The really cool 3D tower where you slide out the tiles. Magnetic clasp. It's very nicely made. It's very cool. I like it a lot. But being brutally honest here, if I just had Kingdomino, I don't know if I would use the tower, because then I would have to keep the expansion box. And I don't want to keep the expansion box because, who wants to keep an expansion box? So, it's a cool tower. Completely unnecessary, though. It doesn't add anything to the gameplay function, but I'm glad they included it because, it's a cool tower. It really is. It's really nicely made as well. But that would probably actually be my least favorite aspect of this expansion. So in the end, Kingdomino, Age of Giants. If you routinely hit 5 players and you like Kingdomino or Queendomino, must own, in my personal opinion. If you do not routinely hit 2 players, if you hit 2, 3, 4 players a lot, I think this is a great to fantastic expansion that I would add because it adds extra layers to the game. It's still a gateway game. It's still the kind of game you can teach to just about anybody. It's still a lightweight filler game, but it just adds a little bit more interesting choices, which isn't that what we all want in games? So there you go. Kingdomino, Age of Giants from Blue Orange Games 1. I can highly recommend, as long as you liked either Kingdomino or Queendomino. If you enjoyed this review, please sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know. Can you think of another really cool thing in a game, a really dumb thing in a game, that is completely useless, but you like/hate it in a game? Like this. Don't need it, but it's cool. For me personally, I always think of dice cups. I play a lot of old school games right now as I'm going through all these games, reviewing them. And there's so many games that come with dice cups. And it's like, why do you always need dice cups? Especially games that have like 4 or 5 dice. It's like, who can't fit these 4 or 5 dice into your hand? I would understand if it's a children's game. That's different. But if it's a spelling game, what 4 or 5-year-old can't... It annoys me. So I'm going to go with dice cups. They annoy me. 99% of the time, I don't need a dice cup. And even a recent game that came out from Upper Deck last year, Shark Island, I think it was. I really enjoyed that game. It had a dice cup. Completely unnecessary dice cup. Come on, it's 2018. Do we still need dice cups? We have hands. Our hands are growing larger, scientifically, because we're getting fatter. But still, hands are getting bigger. Don't need dice cups. Get rid of them. Save us an extra 40 cents on a game or something like that. But let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.